Welcome back on my channel. 1 week has passed since the last update. Let me walk you through the changes I did in the meantime. Here we are back into browser tabs side by side. You can see that this page, compared to the first version, you cannot just simply go ahead and change it. It's normal text. Instead, if you want to add something, you have to click this little edit button. And then you can just enter a new paragraph and type something here. And you'll also see that with a lag, it's updating on the other tab as well. And this is actually not a lag, but for efficiency, the changes I make in this tab are only sent to the browser every 1.5 seconds or so, which you can see if you look at the right tab. And I just keep on typing here. It just updates every 1.5 seconds. Okay, so let's say I'm in the other tab here and I'm another user or the same user, but I open the page in another tab and I want to edit this. Then I also have to click the edit button. And if I do this, watch this button here. If I click the edit here, the other page will get automatically locked and I can now edit here. For example, remove this paragraph and the changes will be reflected in the other tab as well. Other stuff that has been fixed is that editing the title is also reflected on the other tabs as well as on the sidebar. Here's actually one little bug that just doesn't pick up the latest update. So if I keep typing here, for example, you see that this is always one change behind, but that's a different issue. I just wanted to get started with making this video before jumping into that issue. One other thing, probably nobody noticed in the other video, is if I add a new page here, it actually opens up in this window where I clicked it, and actually it should directly go into editing mode, I think. But on the other tab here, in theory it's edit, it's just not visible. I think you have to click here to refresh the sidebar, yeah. In the old version it also opened that page, but now it can detect from which tab the action was actually spawned, even though it's coming from the same user. Okay, there's still lots of stuff to do. For example, rearranging the sidebar here isn't really reflected, although it's stored on the server, which you can see if I reload the page. Then the ordering here has actually been updated the same as here and stuff like that. So a lot of time was actually spent on research last week, since I originally had the idea to design it a little bit like Google Docs works. So you can just edit the page, and if somebody else is editing the page at the same time, you see his changes and his cursor and stuff like that. And the demo I implemented actually worked with a pretty naive implementation. So every time I would type a character, it would send the whole new document to the server and to the other tabs. And of course, this is very inefficient if I type a word consisting of 3 characters. 3 times the whole text gets transmitted, and the larger the document gets, the more inefficient it gets, obviously. Also, another huge problem with this is if 2 people are typing at the same time, everybody is transmitting the whole document, so that you are overwriting each other's changes, and that's not going to work at all. And how this is properly implemented is by just transmitting the transformations that are applied to the text. For example, you send a command that says after the 3rd word, the letter I is typed. And then this command is also sent to all the other users that are connected, and they can simply insert this one character at the correct position. And then if 2 people type at the same time, this is not really a problem, because these changes can be applied in various places in the document at the same time. Or should really 2 people type the same character at the same position, then you can either just append those 2 characters or drop one of the first character or the last character or something. But to be able to do this, of course, you need to have access to what the user is doing, and I'm using this ready packaged editor component, which is basically like a program in itself. So to be able to change something about this, depending on what it is, you really have to understand the whole thing, and that is a lot of work. So after I didn't saw an easy way to obtain the actual transformations, because per default, I, as somebody who's using this editor in my software, just get the whole new text after somebody has typed something. So I went to GitHub and researched a little bit on the page of this editor, and I found this very long thread about the same issue that other people had. And after scrolling a little bit through this and scrolling through this and seeing that there were even more comments on this thread which aren't even shown by default, and also scrolling through this and through this and through this, and then discovering that this discussion was going nowhere, and people started their forks of their own editors, meaning they created a copy of this software with some own additions to fix this. And then this software had also other requirements. I decided that it's not really worth the hassle to dive into this. And so actually I got this idea how I implemented it in my version from this GitHub discussion, because somebody else did it the same way. And that's actually a pretty common way. So you lock the page, you see somebody else is editing, and if you want to edit, you can obtain the right handle, and the other person gets locked out. Also, I think in practice it's not a problem, because I'm really not building a replacement for Google Docs or something where people say, hey, let's edit this text, so we head over to Parsley. Instead, it will mostly be a collection of documents that people read, and then very occasionally they will find, oh, this information is outdated, let me fix this. And then they quickly click on edit and change the text, and they are done. Having this out of the way, there are plenty of other things that need to be done. We just got started. So there's plenty of more episodes coming up, and I hope you stay tuned for the next one.